Good evening, and welcome to the National Trends and Services Facet 2020 Candidates Forum presented on behalf of the Fort Valley, Georgia chapter of the Links Incorporated. Wilhelmina Sibley, President, Dr. Paula McGee, Chair of the National Trends and Services Facet, Oena Odoms, Co-Chair. At this time, we will have information regarding the National Trends and Services Facet presented by Dr. Paula McGee, Chapter of the Links Incorporated. Wilhelmina Sibley, President,
The vision of the National Trends and Services Facet is to eliminate disparities by reducing barriers to services through advocacy, education, and service. Our mission is to empower our chapters to effectively empower the communities in which we work. Our goals include increasing the number of sustainable and measurable programs, increasing collaborative partnerships, and extending our existing initiatives to include communities identified as having the greatest need.
Thank you very much, Dr. McGee. The candidates that we've invited this evening who have graciously agreed to appear are the candidates for sheriff for Peach County, Democratic candidate Vince Howell, incumbent Sheriff Terry Deese, and candidates for Peach County Commissioner, Laronda Eason, and incumbent Wade Yoder. We did also invite the candidates for the House and County District Attorney, incumbent George Hartwick, and his opponent, Erica Williams. Ms. Williams was unable to attend due to a previous obligation. What we intend to do is give each of the candidates an opportunity to present their platforms to you, the community, and constituents, so that they may take this opportunity to fully introduce themselves before the election, November 3rd. The candidates will come up individually and introduce themselves. After the introductions, we may very well have some questions and give the candidates an opportunity to answer those questions. First, to present their platform will be incumbent Sheriff Deese. So one moment as we add him to the live stream. Good evening, Sheriff Deese. How are you?
Good. How are you this afternoon?
Doing well, doing well. I am just introduced you as our very first candidate to present your platform, and you have the floor, sir, to present to us your plan for continued sheriff service, or your new plan for serving the county of Peach going forward.
All right. Well, I'll start with our foundation. I started with the Peach County Sheriff's Office as a patrol deputy in 1983. And from there, I went to investigations, into supervising investigations, doing internal affairs. And in 1990, I was promoted to chief deputy, where I served for 14 and a half years. And my role there was to the day-to-day operations of the entire sheriff's office, from the jail to patrol to investigations, court services. And the reason I say all this is the office of sheriff is unlike any other law enforcement agency out there. It is an independent constitutional office that answers solely to the citizens of Peach County. In this case, serving as sheriff is not about being a Democrat or about being Republican. It's about doing what's right for the communities we've served. And I've spent my entire adult life in the Peach County Sheriff's Office doing that and helping to build the Sheriff's Office into the agency that it is today. It is currently one of the most respected and one of the most recognized agencies in the state of Georgia. I've been there for almost 38 years. I worked in every office there. I know the sheriff's office from the front door to the back door. There's nobody else more qualified to run it because I've been raised to run the Peach County Sheriff's Office. Now, some things we've done since I took office in 2004, we had a jail that had 68 beds, and we were averaging over 100 people a day. So we had to address that issue very quickly. And we did that through a SPLOST. The citizens passed a SPLOST and allowed us to do a jail addition. And we did a $9.8 million addition and renovation to that jail to get us up to where we wouldn't have to be concerned about the federal courts coming in and shutting us down at that time. Prior to that addition, we didn't have any medical service, any mental health service in the jail. If someone got sick, we had to call an ambulance, send them to the emergency room. We currently have one of the best medical providers for jails in the southeastern United States employed in our jail. They take care of the people housed there with their medical needs, and also they take care of the mental health needs. Now, we've recently partnered with Middle Flint Behavioral Health Care, which is the new agency that covers our area of the state, covers Peach, Houston, and Crawford. So we've joined the company in our jail with the Middle Flint, and we've vastly improved the services for the mental health patients in our jail, because as we all know, the state of Georgia has really cut back on mental health services, and the largest mental health providers in the state of Georgia today are your local county jails, because that's where they all wind up, and we have the responsibility of taking care of them. And we've done that by adding this medical service. We've also added a full kitchen there that we do all. We're pretty much a little small city inside that jail. Now, on the patrol division, when I took office, I did away with the chief deputy position so that we could add 2 patrol deputies. We used one of those positions to put into the school system to teach a full-time DARE and crime prevention specialist. The other position was placed on patrol. This allowed us to increase our patrol coverage to 3 cars per shift. We had been running 2 cars per shift since I started back in 1983, and I think Sheriff Beckham started that when he took office in 1981. The other upgrades we've done, we now have in-car computers. The deputies can do their reports in the car now. They don't have to go out and jot down notes and then come back to the office to write out their reports. They do them in the car. The computers send them into the office, and they can print them out, the secretaries, when they get to them. We've also upgraded our car cameras that they now have GPS systems on them so that we can hold the deputies more accountable. We're always getting these calls about patrol cars speeding or running stop signs. Now we can go into that computer system and see what their speed was on a certain date and time, where they were at. And we have the ability to log in and turn those cameras on live at any time. We've also partnered with the schools. We have deputies in all of our schools now. Fort Valley covers Hunt Elementary, and we have a deputy in each of the other schools, and that includes 2 deputies at the high school. We also teach CHAMPS now. I started teaching an ADAM program at Hunt Elementary in 1988, and then we went to the DARE program where we taught that for 12 years. And in 2006, we started teaching the CHAMPS curriculum, because CHAMPS is designed by the Georgia Sheriff's Association, and it's aimed at issues that we see right here in Georgia, where the DARE program is more aimed at problems we see in California and other areas of the state. With the jail addition, we've added, we were the first in the state to do a video visitation. Here within the last month, we've added mobile visitation to the jail. Families can now visit someone in the jail from their home through a smart device or some type of computer. We added a training room when we did the jail. We had GED classes taught in there. We've had a sorority come out and teach classes to the ladies. And the goal of that is to try to teach something in there so that they don't become repeat offenders, that they don't keep coming back. In 2004, I talked about my priorities were going to be increasing the relationships with all the local law enforcement agencies. Now, we've done that locally. We have a joint drug unit that consists of Byron PD, Fort Valley PD, and now Crawford County Sheriff's Office. We also have a combined tactical unit. And when I was serving as president of the Sheriff's Association, traveling around the state, it is really rare to see local agencies combining their own resources unless there's some federal money involved in a grant. We're doing this on our own. There is no grant money doing this. Chief Cannon and Chief Spurgeon and I and Chief Walker, Sheriff Walker, just, we realize that the criminals don't recognize boundary lines. So our best way to combat that is to pool our resources and work as one team. I also talked about our lack of ability to communicate with other law enforcement agencies. When I took office in 2005, Peach County Sheriff's Office and Byron Police Department were the only two agencies that could talk to each other on our car radios. Now, several years ago, we've gone to a county-wide system to where everybody at that time could talk to one another and we could listen to each other, except for Fort Valley State University Public Safety Department. And here within the last month, they have gone to that same radio system. So now we have all of our local agencies working as one team. We're listening out for each other. We can hear what each other's doing. We can communicate. Another problem we had in the past is our computers couldn't even talk to each other. When 911 dispatched a call, they would have to fax us a paper sheet and we would have to re-enter it into our computers, which just, it was duplicating work. It was creating errors. But here within the last 6 months, 911 has gone in with the same computer system as the Sheriff's Office in Byron. So our computers are working together. We can search each other's record. It just makes a more seamless response when we're trying to get information on people. We're looking for addresses or what kind of car they're driving. Then all of our computers can communicate. And hopefully we'll get Fort Valley and the university on that system sooner rather than later. I've worked really hard at the Sheriff's Office to maintain that reputation, and we all know that we're a small rural community, but over the years, we've seen our fair share of challenges, natural disasters, human tragedies, and I'll tell everybody that we have the best public safety team in the state of Georgia right here in Peach County. When we have somebody that's lost and needs searches, we have the volunteer fire service here that is one of the best in the state. They are trained for doing searches. They are ready, willing, and able just anytime we need them. We had a case earlier in the year. A young college student was reported missing, and they were on the ground with me, and we were doing field searches in the area where she was last seen in a matter of hours. And we managed to find her the next day with those ground searches. And by forming all of our resources together and forming a task force, we were able to find the young lady. Sadly, she had been killed and dumped in the woods. Just one of the most heart-wrenching cases that I've ever worked in my 38 years, to have a beautiful young senior college student with her entire career ahead of her taken out in the wood and dumped like a bag of garbage. And I was in on the when we had to go in and break that news to her daddy. And her dad's one of the finest men I ever met, just kind as he could be. And it was really tough telling him that his only child had been taken from him. But with our teamwork and working side by side with the GBI, Fort Valley Police Department, Georgia State Patrol, I mean, the resources we had offered to us were just unreal. We had drones, we had helicopters. We threw everything we had at that, and we were able to solve that case and get that defendant in jail in a matter of days. Some people remember several years back, we had a serial rapist targeting our young college students, and we pooled our resources on that one too. And we had people from outside counties coming in here to work with us, and we were able to get that defendant, and he's been sentenced to life in prison. He'll be 93 years old before he's eligible for parole. He will never see the streets again, because that's one of the most evil men that I've ever dealt with in my 38 years. We still have things going on at the sheriff's office. As we know, in March, this COVID came to town. It went against everything our law enforcement young officers have been trained to do. They are trained to go out and be proactive and prevent crime and look for people committing crimes. And then when this COVID come in, we had to call them back and tell them to restrict their access with the outside public, because an agency like ours had we lost 3 or 4 deputies to the COVID, then we wouldn't be able to function. But luckily, we have 5 post instructors in the sheriff's office. When we see a need that needs to be trained, we have the ability in-house to handle that training. The minute COVID hit, on our first government meeting we had with Byron, Fort Valley, we implemented the Pandemic Assistance Program. This is a program that targeted our most vulnerable population out there, our sick, our elderly. All they had to do is call the 911 center. A deputy would go to their house, pick up their grocery list, do the shopping for them, deliver the grocery back. We were picking up medications. I did a lot of those myself, especially early on, because these young deputies had never seen anything done like that. So as a leader, you have to be out front. You have to lead the way. So when they saw me out going to these houses and picking up that grocery list and going to the grocery store and picking up the toilet paper or whatever they need, then they really bought into that. We have sponsored several drive-through food delivery systems, partnering with Bluebird and the Middle Georgia Community Food Bank to get food to people in areas of our communities that have less food to eat and we're struggling to find food. We did 2 of those, and a couple of weeks ago we did a Faith and Blue food drive where we called in the State Patrol, the GBI, Byron Police Department, Fort Valley Police Department, Fort Valley State University Public Safety Department. We all came together and sponsored one of those food drives, and we fed over 1,000 people that day. So being a sheriff's office is not all about locking people up. Now, yeah, there are bad people out there that won't give you any alternative but to lock them up. And that's why we have the jails. And that's largely why the jails stay pretty full. But we are out there every day. Our young deputies with this pandemic, 2 of them had small babies at home. They never hesitated to come in. Sure, they were concerned, and we were all concerned that they would catch that virus and take it home to their families, just like the rest of us was. But, you know, that never hesitated. They came in, they did their job, they did it professionally. I'm extremely proud of what they have done. We implemented procedures immediately when this virus started to shut our jail down and keep that virus from getting in there. It would have been total disaster had it gotten into that jail where we had 90 people, because we are responsible for their well-being while they're in there. Now, we were able to contain that up to date. We've only had one person test positive that was in jail. And I truly believe that was a false positive because the guy was showing no symptoms. He was on work release. We've had no other issues there. We've had 5 employees come down with it. A couple of them got pretty sick, but they are back to work, stronger, better than they've ever were. So, we're still out there. And we see this turmoil all across the nation. And we've got people on the local level that don't want to hear this, but we don't have the problems here that we see on TV. Now, are we perfect? No. By no stretch of the imagination are we perfect. We still have work to do. And that's the reason we have recently reached out to our ministerial alliance, strengthening our partnerships with them. We are strengthening our partnerships with our community leaders. We as law enforcement executives need to know if there's a concern in our neighborhood that we need to know about. When a newly elected official gets elected, I meet with them and give them my cell phone, my email address. My home phone has always been listed in the book with my address. And I can't tell you how many thousands of phone calls I've gotten. And a couple of hundred people have shown up on my front porch to talk to me about their issues. But we make our information available. We want to hear from people. Now, sometimes people don't notify us that they hear any problems until it becomes convenient for them. Like during an election year, all of a sudden, some of the newly elected folks have all these problems that they've been sitting on for 2 years and hadn't mentioned until now. But that's kind of where we're at. The Peach County Sheriff's Office is going to continue to come to work. We get up every morning, put our pants on one leg at a time. We come in with the mission of being better today than we were yesterday. We're going to continue to provide that service as long as I'm sitting in that position. It is very easy to talk the talk, but in the real world, you can't just go out and purchase a get elected strategy with a platform. You've got to put it to work. And that's what we have done at the Sheriff's Office.
Thank you very much, Sheriff Deese. Thank you for taking the opportunity to share your platform with us. At this time, I'm going to pause you and we're going to hear from one of our other candidates. And I'm sure we will be back because we'll have some questions a little later. Thank you. And this time we will hear from Vince Howell, who is also a candidate for Sheriff of Peach County. We have Mr. Howell, and I'm not sure if he can hear me, but his mic needs to be unmuted on his side. Mr. Howell, can you unmute your mic? Okay, Mr. Howell is having some difficulties. We will get those worked out with him. Who we will hear from next is Miss Laronda Eason, who is the candidate for the Peach County Commissioner's post. Hello, Miss Eason. Can you hear me?
I can.
Wonderful. Ms. Eason is a candidate for Peach Commissioner, and I'd like for you to take this opportunity to share with us your platform. But first, I do have a question. What part of Peach County are you running to represent?
I am going to be representing all of Peach County. This is an at-large position.
Thank you. Thank you. Please carry on with your.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Again, I am Laronda Eason. I am running for County Commissioner, post 5 at large. I am a hometown candidate. I was born right here in Fort Valley, Georgia, in the projects. I am the daughter of the late Marvin Hillman Jr. and Eloise Simmons, a retired educator. I am so happy to be with you this evening. I just want to give you a brief history about myself. I was educated here in the schools of Peach County. I am a 1986 graduate of Peach County High School and a 1996 graduate of the Fort Valley State University. I received my BSW at Fort Valley State University, and I received my commission as a second lieutenant through ROTC. I am a proud United States Army retiree, 26 years. I retired in 2013. I was a commander in the United States Army. I commanded 1207 U.S. Army Hospital out of Fort Benning, Georgia. We backfilled for Martin Army, United States Army Hospital. And just to give you a little background on that, I was in charge of doctors, nurses, anesthetists, dentists, pharmacists. I have an extensive background in healthcare, 17 years as a matter of fact. I have 26 years of leadership. And my platform consists of healthcare, economic development and growth, parks and recreation, and also I want to talk about transparency and accountability. Now, healthcare is at the top of my list. We know that healthcare is very important here in the United States. Unfortunately, we have been going through a pandemic here in the United States and Peach County. I want to talk about the numbers in Peach County for just a moment. Here in Peach County, just last week, I reported that we had 749 cases of coronavirus here in Peach County and 24 deaths. Unfortunately, today, we have 776 positive cases here in Peach County. And just from last week, we have 2 more deaths here in Peach County. So healthcare has been rolling uphill with the coronavirus here in Peach County. And sadly to say, we haven't been doing much to control the coronavirus here in Peach County. And that's why it's at the top of my list. I feel strongly that when I get in office, that my number one concern is going to be how can we stop the coronavirus here in Peach County? What I would like to do is get with other leaders here in Peach County and have an effective plan put in place for the coronavirus. I know that we have a team right now that is working together on the coronavirus, a team of professional healthcare professionals as well as leaders here. But the thing is, I'm not sure what they're doing. That's where transparency comes in. They need to let us know as the people what exactly are they doing. And so that's why transparency and accountability is very important here. And I just want to tie that in. I will talk about it in a few more moments, but I want to tie that into healthcare and why it's so important that we, the people, know what is going on here in Peach County. It's very dangerous that we're not wearing masks. And I myself have bought 750 masks for Peach County citizens to wear. And I will buy more if that's what it takes to get this virus down. Testing needs to be done here in Peach County. We were doing testing, but it has slowed down. We need more testing available to the citizens of Peach County so that we can slow this virus down. And so when I get in office, what I would like to see is more testing across Peach County. That is going to be in my plan. I want to see testing not only in Fort Valley, but in Byron. We must understand that Peach County encompasses 2 cities. We're not just Fort Valley. We're not just Byron. We are all of Peach County. and we need to start working together. That's something that I started from the beginning. That's why my slogan is let's build Peach County together. We need to understand that we are one county. We're not split up. And the leaders need to start saying that. They need to start showing that we're together on this. One problem that I do see with healthcare and the leadership here that I would like to bring to the table as far as coronavirus, like I said, not wearing masks. I don't see in the county where we even have healthcare stations when we walk into county buildings. There are no sanitation stations for visitors or even for employees. We need to have that. That's part of my healthcare plan. We need to be serious about taking care of our employees and our citizens. So again, we are rising in Peach County with the coronavirus numbers, and we need to put a plan in place so that we can get a handle on the coronavirus. And not just the coronavirus, there are other viruses out there that can be dangerous to our citizens. We have the flu season coming up. And there are other viruses that can come into Peach County and be a danger to our health. So we need a strict healthcare plan that will save the people of Peach County. Again, I want to say those numbers: 776 positive cases and 24 deaths last week and 26 this week. Let's talk about transparency and accountability. Us, the constituents, we put in our votes, and government officials need to be accountable to us. Every 4 years, when we put in a vote and vote for the people of our choice, or we don't vote for the people of our choice, they're still accountable to us as constituents. We should receive a report every so often about what's going on in our government. We're owed access to our government. We should be able to go to the website. We should be able to walk into the door of our government and ask for a report. Under my plan, it should be an open door policy to us constituents. We should be able to know what's going on a daily basis. I know they have meetings twice a month. They have a regular meeting and they have a work session. Well, for us people that work or we're busy during those times, this is the 21st century. We should be able to go to our computers, our phones, and we should be able to push a button and we should be able to see what's going on in our government. We should not be charged a fee to look and see what's going on. This is our government. It is for the people. It should be transparent to each and every one of us. And again, when we ask questions, our questions should be answered. Again, I'm running for post 5 at large, so I should be accountable to each and every constituent in Peach County. And whichever post that you're individually in, then your representative should be accountable to you. And we should be able to see each and everything that goes on in the government as long as it does not violate any privacy rights. So again, transparency and accountability is very important in the government. And we're owed that by our government officials. Now, I want to talk about economic development and growth. This is very important. The most important thing in Peach County is people need jobs. We know during this time that a lot of people have lost their jobs due to the pandemic, or a lot of people have been laid off, and they're not guaranteed to get those jobs back. Well, when I left Peach County in 1986 to go into the United States Army, there were more industries open here in 1986 than there are now in 2020. What happened to those jobs? Why did they leave? Were there better opportunities somewhere else over the country or outside of the country? We really don't know. We were not told. I know when I moved back here, a lot of my family members had lost their jobs. There were a lot of industries here that had closed down. Well, one thing I would like to see is what is the plan in the county to gain more jobs here in Peach County? We don't know what the plan is. Again, there's no transparency and accountability. The county has not given us a plan. We have not seen a plan. I would like to see a roadmap or a plan to economic growth and development. As leaders, we should be sitting around the table, coming up with a plan to make Peach County better. I do see some growth going on Highway 96 East. However, I do want to remind you that again, we are one Peach County. We're just not Byron or just not Fort Valley. We need a plan that encompasses the entire county. I use this example all the time. If you put too much weight on the right or the left side of a scale, it will tilt over. We have a lot of places in Peach County on the north side, the south side, the east side, the west side for growth. We should have a plan that encompasses growth in the entire county. We have a great university here. They are graduating outstanding graduates every year. Our plan should include all of those degrees that are coming out of that great university. Our plan should match up with industries that could come here and meet those graduates that are coming out that Fort Valley State is producing. We have a diverse people here. We should be courting industries to come here to give jobs to the people that we have here. Do we even know what quality of people we have here? We just got a great industry here, Buxy's. I went to that website. It was so encompassing to apply for a job here. As a leader, I believe when we bring industries here, the greatest thing to do is to match our people with jobs. A leader would think that a job site that big should have had a job fair. We've got to learn how to move the needle. We should not be sitting on opportunities that will move our people forward. We have to have forward-thinking leaders. That's how we're going to get economic growth and development moving in Peach County. We can't just say, there are jobs coming, go get them if you want them. That's not how you help your people. Okay? Now I want to talk about parks and have a new swing set. That's all well and good. It looks pretty, it's very colorful. And the kids are happy. But as a leader, let's talk future. How do we move Peach County forward when it comes to parks and recreation? We need a parks and recreation that is for everyone. We need a total package. We have more than children that use the park. We have seniors, we have visitors, and we have the youth. again, we need forward thinkers.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to break in, Ms. Eason, but we've lost your video.
Okay, I can see you.
You can. Okay, we don't see, you're not visible on the stream.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Your audio is fine. Now, you can continue. If you wouldn't mind, I think you're reaching kind of the end of your segment. Wrap it up probably in 2 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Thanks.
All right. I was talking about parks and recreation. So again, I was talking about a parks and recreation that was for everyone, that included seniors, the youth, and visitors. We want to think future. For the seniors, we want a parks and recreation with lighted walking trails for the seniors. When we think future for the youth, we have parents that have several youths that are participating in multiple games. We have the North Peach Park, the South Peach Park. We really need a recreational complex. So parents are not running from one park to the other, or having someone take one child to one game, another child to another game. We need something that is all in one place. And for visitors, when our visitors are coming to town, they are looking for a park where they can have family reunions, family fun. We need to be thinking about those type facilities where we can invite our visitors. So again, we need forward leadership thinking. And again, I just want to remind you, my platform encompasses healthcare, and that's most important right now in this season. Economic development and growth, transparency and accountability, and parks and recreation. Thank you so very much for this invitation. And again, I'm Laronda Eason, and I'm running for County Commissioner, Post 5 at large. Vote for me on November 3rd, 2020. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Eason. Thank you so much for taking the time to explain and present your platform. I'm going to pause you from stream, but you will return because there will be some questions later. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, we will have the sheriff candidate, Vince Howell, to join us on stream. Hello, Mr. Howell. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay. Now, you will have, fantastic. You will have 20 minutes to present your platform for Sheriff of Peach County. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I am Vince Howell, the Democratic for the Sheriff. Born and raised Fort Valley area of Peach County. I have 20 years experience in law enforcement on the state and county level. I began my career in the Georgia Department of Police, did 10 years there, moved from there to the House of County Sheriff's Office, where I'm now currently employed. You know, I have been trained extensively in mental health and de-escalation tactics, and why am I bringing that part of my key? In today's 21st century police, you know, they want law enforcement to be keen on de-escalation tactics, and also to recognize that is very important to me, because I am the proud father of a 18-year-old autistic child. And I fear for his safety, because I want officers, when they get up on the scene and he's having a mental health crisis, to be able to recognize, you know, if he's nonverbal, or is he special needs? Because you can get him verbal commands and he might understand what you're saying. So those are two things that are very important in law enforcement right now. I'm running on a platform of community policing. And why community policing? Because community policing is partnership based. You're with the community, with proactive solutions and not reacting to things that already transpired. We need to get ahead of problems in our community. And what better way to do that is to have a partnership platform. Now, community focus on accountability, safe streets, and community engagement. Accountability, safe streets, and community engagement. Now let's look at accountability. Part of being accountable is to have mandatory because we want reporting that's going to tell the truth and is up close and personal. Where we're employed, we have to wear body cameras on our person when we engage the public or when we engage inmates that are housed in the jail. So that is very important. Now, a citizen review board, that's something I definitely want to start. Another way of being accountable and also being transparent, because you have actual citizens from the community on a review board with law enforcement. So that's another way of having a partnership and having transparency and accountability. Now, you know, I just spoke on having mandatory body cameras. And, you know, of course, we're going to have to find funding for those body cameras. And what I would do would look at the current sheriff's budget and actually reprioritize that budget and reallocate some funds and go from there to get those body cameras. Now, you know, another way of being transparent. Responses to open records requests, because you know what we don't want to do is give citizens, you know, that minimum, you know, page you get back with them and you just say, I got your request, and that's it. No request that you have to be transferred now, community engagement, and under community engagement is something very to the sheriff's office, and that's monthly meetings with sheriffs. Now, why would we do that? Because that's another way a lot of citizens coming to the sheriff's office to actually try to meet with the sheriff. So you have to actually you have to be a sheriff that's engaged, first of all, and then you go out there and you basically meet with the community. And because here's the thing, law enforcement is not going to know everything or coming up with solutions in the community. And when we meet with the community, believe it or not, ideas already within the community that have been living there a long time. You have Fort Valley have several communities that's residents have been living there for 50 and 60 years. So they definitely know what's going on, what's the change, what things are changing in the community. Another way of community engagement, you know, I want to start a volunteer program. They're going to be well trained. They don't have testing hours, but they can actually help with administrative tasks. Also, they can also help with searching for missing persons. I want something that's going to put boots on the grounds immediately, in addition to community volunteers that we may get. You know, we can add them to that volunteer deputy program when we look for searching persons, but we need to have something immediately, putting boots on the ground to look for someone that's missing, because we all know that the time is key You know, we have to start looking for people immediately. Now, I spoke earlier about, you know, the mental health being key, well trained in mental health. You know, as we all know, you know, where I have been witnessing in the Peach County community is the mental health, our mental health population have basically skyrocketed, you know, and we need to do is having so also, you know, when we have someone that's have a mental health background, whenever they you know, break the law or anything like that, we need to have you know, something in place for them inside our facility so they can actually get some type of counseling, or you know, if they have to have both counseling and you know medication, we need to have something in place. You know, I actually have been in conversation with several people that actually work in the mental field, and I'm trying to implement something that can bring along to press on the mental health. So we have that. I just talked about our volunteer deputy program. You know, volunteer deputies can actually help with welfare checks on our elderly population. In addition to our mental health population growing, our elderly population has also grown. You know, we have people that taking care of themselves and they're living longer, more fuller lives, but also our elderly population, a lot of them, they live alone. And, you know, we can try to get them to be willing participants in this welfare check program that I want to implement. And the volunteer deputy program will be a big part of that. Now, let's look at safe streets, right? We were talking about, well, we had a young man that went missing a couple of months ago. And, you know, my classmate and I, we went out there. We actually took a drone out there and looked from the sky to see if we can locate some clues on this young man that was missing. That's a part of utilizing 21st century technology to bring to the Peach County Sheriff's Office. You know, it's way less costly and it's quicker than actually, you know, getting that helicopter up in the air to help look for mental missing persons. So, you know, we have to look at utilizing technology, bringing the sheriff office into the 21st century. Also, you know, another thing I want to do is implement an animal control program, and I actually cross-train the deputies we already have to help out with that, but also the open slots for new hire deputies, we can basically take some of those slots and actually, you know, fill some of those slots for the new animal control program that I want to have as far as the sheriff's office. So when we talking about having a progressive vision, when I think of the word progress, I think of forward thinking. I think of the future. You know, we could talk about the past and all, and a lot of things, but you know, we have to look at the changing times in Peach County. And what I'm witnessing as I engage the community, you know, our elder population, they have concerns, and I hear them loud and clear because, you know, because I live in the community, I see a lot of things that have changed since I was a kid growing up in Fort Valley. You know, we don't have several shootings within the last couple of years. We had a fatality recently, a couple of months ago. And these are things that are coming to Peach County, and we need to attack things proactively and actively and keep it small, but before it grow into something bigger. So so as your new sheriff, I have a progressive vision. I want you to vote for Vince Howell, bring progress to Peach County. And when I say progress, forward thinking, utilizing new technology, and debate the Peach County Sheriff Office a model for other counties, and other people can actually come to the sheriff's office and actually, you know, use that as a model for training and what to take back to their facilities and their law enforcement office. So, the last day of early voting will be tomorrow, and the general election will be November 3rd. Vote Vince Howell, vote blue down the ballot, and also vote progress. And I want to thank the links for this invitation and this opportunity to speak on my platform and what I can do for the great citizens of Peach County.
Thank you very much, Mr. Howell. There were spots of your presentation that were a little bit warped, but you did come through crystal clear at the end. I believe you were able to round out everything from your platform, so that was good. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I will mute you from screen now and bring you back as we begin to discuss some of the questions later. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Now, lastly, we will have incumbent Wade Yoder, who is currently serving as the county commissioner at large, that he will be speaking on his platform of the future for the county from his perspective in his office. Next voice you will hear will be that of Wade Yoder.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Ms. Odoms. Thank you to you and Chapter of the Links for having me. And hello, Peach County. Just a few things to introduce myself or to bring out what I feel is my unique addition to the team of Peach County Commissioners that are currently on there is my background and experience in business. I'd started into the workforce at an early age. I was 13 when actually I was much younger than that, but that was when I started working at my uncle's restaurant. And I worked in anything from agriculture to dairying. So got agriculture experience and anything from washing dishes, working on farms to later. And this was when my dad had some health problems, and we had a family store, is hardware, animal health supplies, and all that. And I took my dad's place there at 16. I was 16 and a half, and started managing it. And that went on until I was 23 years of age, and went into business myself, into the gym business, as many know that I've been in for the last 28 years in the health and fitness business. And so and fast forward to now, I'm also, it was about 10 years ago, I got into the storage building business and a lot of portable buildings, prefab metal buildings, and grew that from the ground up, and also had to rebuild and my fitness business here in Fort Valley. This is back in 2000 when the building that I was leasing collapsed. It was a really rough struggle for the first few years, and I tell people, everybody was worried about the millennium, 2000 computers crashing, and I tell people, hey, it looked like the only thing that crashed was around here was my business. And so it was a long struggle. I think I learned a lot from it, and also through the years found out that we have a lot of good people around Peach County, and I've really enjoyed working with a lot of people, whether it's on the county government side, city of Fort Valley and Byron, and school system, of course. And so there's a lot of things about Peach County that I'm really excited about. I think we have a lot of opportunity ahead of us. There's a few things that I know we've been up against this past year with the virus. It's really it's been a struggle, and we've got some in leadership that are really working hard behind the scenes. There's a lot of coordination with the state health department. We try to follow that really close to try to get guidelines for the community and translate that, whether it's with the school system, Fort Valley State, in the business community. And so there's a lot of is a test, I feel, on a lot of people. And I believe our community has really shown over this past year in resilience. And I went around to a lot of the businesses when this was happening and checked on all the grocery stores, pretty much all the restaurants that were affected in the dine-in side. And, you know, though a lot of them were tired employees, especially on the front lines, I call them frontline workers that were helping keep our community on track with keeping us supplied with food and many other services, including our county employees that were on the front line. No matter what, they were there day in, day out, and helped keep life on track for all of us. There's a few things I feel that when it comes to my job as a commissioner, if I don't really consider it a platform other than we have services that the county provides to us, to our community, in return for taxes that are paid in. And that to me is making sure that those get returned in a good and efficient way where we don't have costs run amok. Is really important to me. Also, if being open to if there's other services that we can provide, that is something that I believe we're all open to. Some of the things, and I will say, and I don't really like to talk about the things that I myself am going to do or that I have done. We have a really good team, and you know that we balance each other. I place a lot of value in that. I tell a lot of people I don't have a post. It is countywide, and it to me is very important to be able to work in each post with each commissioner. And so the support in working as a team is what helps us get things done. There are a few things that I feel is important, and I'm not bragging about these things, but these are the things that I personally have been involved with, and I want to go through a few of those things so that everybody knows that I haven't been sitting on my tail. But so one of the first things that was done was live streaming of our meetings. I'm pretty familiar with a lot of Facebook pages and the one in our tech department. We talked about it. He liked what I was doing in the beginning. I called it Hicks streaming. I'd hang my iPad in the back of the room and live stream the county meetings. We got it done, not the first attempt. It was a new idea, and so the second attempt, it passed. We funded getting the county meeting room on video, so our meetings are videoed, and you're able to go back through the meetings and look at it. It doesn't matter if it's months ago. You can look. If there's a particular thing that you're wanting to look at, you can watch the meeting. And I felt like that was important because a lot of people are busy. We have technology. It's something that is a free service, really. We can have those videos live streamed, and then the videos are archived so that you can go back later and watch a meeting if you're at work and you don't have the time to be there. So that was something that really made me feel good when everyone agreed to get that done, and so that is in place. Next, this was something that showed me that if you're a little dogmatic about something, even when it's a state, so we have state highway system, we have county roads here in the county, and I don't feel that just because it's a state road, it feels a little good when there's a complaint, a pothole or something, or a guardrail down or whatever, that, you know, to be able to say, well, that's a state road, but it is our problem. It's in our county. We need to take responsibility for it. It doesn't matter if it's on I-75 or a state highway. So this was on the Autumn Cove turn lane. They didn't have one. They did on the approach side from Highway 49, but coming from the hospital, when you sat on top of the hill, you sat there, and if you had oncoming traffic, which was a dangerous thing, well, I got in touch with someone, brought it to my attention. I got in touch with GDOT. He pulled it up right there while we were on the phone, looked at it, and it made sense to him. And 8 months later, it was done. So that made me feel good. It may seem like a little accomplishment, but it showed me that if you stay on something, you can get it done. And the primary thing is communication on that. Next, we had an old fire station on Lakeview. Chief Doles stressed the importance of getting a new fire station out in the Norwood Springs, Clopine Lake area. And someone brought up about the fire station on Lakeview that it was it was empty, and well, we used a little bit for fabrication, but it wasn't a lot of usage. So we got it on the market, sold it, and we're in the process of getting a new fire station, which made a lot of sense. It should help the kind of the east south end of the county have a much lower ISO rating. So that is coming. Next, something that's in, let's see. Okay, one thing that has been, it did take a lot of work. It was putting together a mental health task force. It was there was a lot of good people to work with. We had a mental health organization for quite a few years that things went downhill. I won't go into what all happened there, but the service wasn't good. The mental health service is provided a county building, free of charge. The sheriff and I were talking. He was talking about the lacking of mental health services within the jail, and this started a conversation, and I could tell that really bothered him, because of there's like 45% of inmates have mental health issues. This is something that is serious, and when they're let out, it has to do with recidivism, of them coming right back in for something. And these people need help. They're not completely responsible with all the medications and somebody being off medication. So this got a conversation started. The new group, Middle Flint Behavioral Health Care Services, come in and took over the operations. They're a really good outfit. We are fortunate to have them. So this conversation got started. And lo and behold, they will provide services. And this was because of conversation getting started with a mental health task force that was put together. And this was law enforcement, anything from judges to Middle Flint Behavioral Health Care Services and since then we put Sheriff Deese on the board. The county commissioners put him and Dr. Brown, superintendent of Peach County Schools, on the board. And so I feel we're uniquely positioned to make sure that this doesn't happen again. What happened with the mental health organization that was in there? They will actually provide mental health services within the jail. So if somebody is connected with them, one of their clients, they will actually provide services from within the jail and all the way through the court system, provide and helping get them integrated back into the community. This is really big, and we're also working together with the court system, making and getting mental health court, which is really an accountability court. This is off to a slow start. It was supposed to start this summer, and it's a lot of things were put on hold. Some of the funding got dried up, but that is something that's on there. So there was one other thing that is, and so that's actually still in progress for that. There was something that I saw when working with quite a few different agencies, whether the fire department, E911, the police departments, Byron and Fort Valley, sheriff department. We got everyone together to get to work on the E911 system. There is a CAD system that makes so that there can be real quick, rapid communication put together. This is what Sheriff Deese was referring to earlier. That will make so that there's not officers in E911 or I'm sorry, not E911, EMS, fire department, police departments, Fort Valley State, as they come on, having to re-enter information that's already been entered one time from E911. Information on the call doesn't need to be entered again. And so I saw what it's like when we get everybody on the same page, because the whole county is meant to work together, even though the city of Byron, city of Fort Valley works on different, they do have an elected body. We're all still part of the same government body. And so I think we need to take that serious. I feel like it helps all of us do our jobs more efficiently if we all work together. And I saw what happens when everybody comes together like there, and I was really impressed with what everybody did there. There was one thing that was, as to ride on that, I saw where Warner Robins, as we know, Warner Robins is growing into Peach County, still stays Peach County, whether it's Perry, Warner Robins, Byron. So the area over on Russell Parkway was that with the Buc-ee's was made possible by people coming together as the city of Fort Valley and Warner Robins. That even though it took some negotiating and bouncing between, whether it was a utility commission, mayor of Fort Valley, representatives, but this is results of something that actually can happen when everybody works together. The entire county is going to see a lot of tax revenue, whether it's the e-SPLOS, regular SPLOS, and the local option sales tax. There's a lot of benefit will happen from the growth along not just jobs, but tax revenue. So I'm really excited about that. One thing that, and I'm not going to go on too long about this here, but there are a few things that I want to would really like to see. It will take work getting it to happen, but I've been in contact quite a bit with our EMS director, and we got a really good one. He does really good work, leads an awesome team, and it's a thing called community paramedicine. It's where, with new technology, we have the capability to work with our local health providers, such as our doctors, our hospital, and this community paramedicine would actually work as a bridge where EMS would go out, check on the person that was released from the doctor, but still maybe in a vulnerable condition. And this would actually keep pressure off of the like with E911, by a person or a patient's condition digressing, and keep pressure off the emergency room, and plus provide a very valuable service to our community in vulnerability when someone is still needing stabilization. So that's something that I really hope happens over the next year. And we got a really good team of people with EMS that I think could guide us with that. Okay, a few other things. I can't, I do have to say something. Almost everybody knows that I've formed a chip on my shoulder with traffic congestion in Fort Valley. There's been a lot of issues. It's been a long time. This is not a new thing with trains blocking the tracks. It hasn't been as bad lately. A lot of us locally have been putting pressure on this, along with GDOT or state representatives that are putting pressure on that. We have gotten a timeline. It's much slower than I can be a little impatient with things. These things take a while, but there's been a lot of work, a lot of effort. The county and the city of Fort Valley have come together to work on what would be our part of working with GDOT for a solution. This is going to cost something, but the city of Fort Valley and the county have both agreed to put hands on deck to get this done. We have a timeline for that. It's going to be a few years out. So everyone have patience. It's something that we need to do. It should have been done a long time ago. There's a neighborhood along Peachtree Street that it's really unfair. That street and connecting streets that really get hammered when the train is blocking the tracks. I want to wrap this up. There was other things I was going to go across, but in closing, I would like to thank some people that really make it possible, whether it's the Board of Commissioners and office staff, our department heads, and their teams. We really have some outstanding people. Our workforce, they are the ones that make it possible for us to deliver services. And one thing that I've found out since being elected in 2016 is that I don't just work for the citizens of Peach County. I also, for me to help make it possible and to do my job, I consider myself an employee of the employees of Peach County, and I really appreciate them. Everyone from fire, EMS. There's so many departments that are working tirelessly and have been this year, trying to keep services on track. To make sure that whether we're in a pandemic or not, they are working to keep life on track for all of us. In closing, I would like to say that Peach County, if elected, you have my commitment to continue to work hard for you and for our employees. I will do my best not to let you down. I know there's a lot of work to do, a lot of improvements to make. I appreciate your vote in 2016. I would like to say that if not elected, that there is that possibility that could happen. I will make sure that on my part, that there's a smooth transition to the one that's running against me. I feel like I owe that to the community. I'm a part of this community, and I want to keep that on track. There's a lot that I've been a part of, helped start, that's not finished. I truly feel like my job is not done, but if she is elected, I will be trying to help her in any way I can. I appreciate your support throughout the past 4 years. It's been an honor serving our community. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yoder, for sharing with us your platform, your track record and plans for moving forward, should it work out that way. What I will do is mute you from the stream. We will have one question for you to answer, but I'll be back shortly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I am being rejoined by Sheriff Deese. Sheriff Deese, I do have a question that has come up in the chat stream, and that one question I'd like for your consideration of answer is, what is the current protocol for interacting with persons who, when encountered during a criminal act, but are living with mental health diagnosis?
You know, that's a very good question. We see a lot of that. We see it all across our nation. Most of our deputies are trained in the CIT training. They're trained to recognize those symptoms and how to deal with those people. And depending on the type of crime, once we get them in the jail, the priority is the mental health issue. Our job is not to punish them for the crime. Once we get them in the jail, it is our responsibility to deal with that mental health issue. And I'll give you a prime example. There was a lady arrested on the interstate at the end of last year. She was driving a stolen car out of Tampa. She was stopped, arrested for driving a stolen car in Georgia. She was on her way to Canada because she had thought Usher had sent her a message on the computer that he would marry her once she got to Canada. And so, you know, our mental health people immediately got on top of that. The car she was in was actually her mother's. We contacted the mother. The mother wanted her car back, but she didn't want the daughter back because they could not control her. In fact, while she was with us in the Peach County Jail, we got a restraining order not to send her back to Tampa. So we called Mental Flint Behavioral Health Care in. They teamed up with our medical people in there for the mental health services. We brought in the judicial system with the district attorney's office, our Superior Court judge, the public defender's office that was representing the young lady. And we were told that if we could get her stabilized and on a treatment plan, that those charges would be dismissed. But we had to find her a place and get her stabilized and get her back to home to Florida. Now, it took a couple of months because this young lady was very combative. But at the end of the day, we got her back on a treatment plan. We reestablished that relationship with the mother by letting them communicate by phone and by video. The mother agreed that she could come back down there. But our mental health people wanted to take it one step further. There was a treatment program in Tampa that they wanted her to leave our jail and go into that treatment program. So instead of putting her on a bus and shipping her back to Tampa, we put her in the car with 2 Peach County deputies, and they delivered her to the treatment facility in Tampa. And that's the kind of service that we provide. We understand people with mental conditions are not doing things right by themselves. And we know families are in bad positions. They can't control these people. They have no assistance with the state trying to get them help. It's just a very challenging thing, and we are really focused on that in the jail. And I could tell story after story like that, where our first priority in getting them in the jail is getting them stabilized. Now, being a small community like this, we all know the people that walk the streets. They are a nuisance to businesses. The city picks them up for violating the trespassing order. They bring them to the jail. We get them back on their medications, get them back on a treatment plan. The courts releases them. They get back on the street. They don't take the meds. You know, it's just a revolving door. So we know those people that, like, we're all on a first name basis. We know who they are. We normally got their medications in stock. But we do get occasions like the young lady off the interstate. Our deputy went out just a couple of weeks ago to pick someone up on an evaluation order. And the man was in the kitchen, and the man come out of the kitchen with a knife toward the deputy. Now, under Georgia law, that deputy would have been justified in shooting him. But that deputy was able to talk him down, calm him down, and the deputy backed out of the house. The guy locks the door behind him, and then they started contacting family members and friends. And it took a couple of hours, but eventually they got somebody to that door, talked him out. They put him in the patrol car. We took him to the nearest emergency receiving facility to get him the treatment he needs. So, you know, not only do we see the need for helping these people, our court systems see the need of not putting these people in jail for crimes that they can't keep themselves from committing. So, I mean, we're very aware of that problem. We deal with it every day. It's like Wade just said, the commissioners appointed me to serve on that community service board with Middle Flint. I have learned a lot from them. They are a very professional organization. They are dedicated to their profession, and they are doing a great service to our community. So we are glad to have them on our team. We're seeing a lot of difference in our jails with the mental health issues. The state of Georgia has basically abandoned the mental health system, as we all know. As one of the responsibilities of the sheriff's office, we do mental health transports. When a family member or somebody goes to the probate judge and somebody in their family's in mental distress and they sign that order to be picked up and evaluated, that duty falls on the sheriff's office. And there have been times where we have had to transport people to Rome, to Augusta, to Brunswick, just anywhere in the state, where when I was a young deputy, all of those orders, we took them straight to Milledgeville. It was about an hour ride, where now we never know where we're going once we get those calls. That is a service that, you know, the sheriff's office is charged with providing, and we have to make those transports, which is, we understand that. We do them practically every day. And I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much, Sheriff Deese. I will mute you for a moment and return shortly. Hello, Mr. Howell.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We have
Okay.
a question. And the question is, if an individual is encountered during a criminal act, but that individual is also dealing with mental health issues, what's the current protocol in dealing with that situation?
Well, I can't tell you what the protocol of the Peach County Sheriff Office, because I'm employed in Houston County, but I will tell you what I would like to implement. You know, when they come in, usually law enforcement, well, the way I look at it, they should be very familiar with our mental health population in a community this size. So usually, you know, your mental health people when they come in, and also, you know, depend on the charge, you know, what law did they break. So when they come in, you know, we want to get them interviewed, you know, ask them some questions, get them to medical immediately, and see are they on any type of medication that helps keep them stable. Also, you know, once we get them interviewed and we basically get a questionnaire filled out as far as their mental health history and everything like that, we want to actually get them put on a list to see the mental health provider. The current agency I work for now, we actually have a mental health provider that come and see them where they are at the jail. They come out there, they basically interview them, and they go through some tests, and then they actually make a recommendation as far as the sentencing. Now, once again, it depends on the charge. Now, if it's a serious felony, they might not have an alternate form of sentencing for that. But so what they do, they reach out to facilities and find a bed for them to actually get treatment. If it's something like a misdemeanor or anything like that. So that's something that I would like to implement. Once they come in, we get them interviewed, get them stabilized, get them to medical, and get them interviewed as far as, are they on any type of medication that can actually help them get stabilized more. Also, part of the interview process I would like to see is, do they feel comfortable actually being in population? I would, sometimes they mental health will actually just tell you they prefer to be alone, and they do better alone. They can't have be around, they're not very sociable, what I would like to see, but what I would say. But so to answer your question in a brief form, bring them in, get them stabilized, get them to medical, get medical to interview them, see what medications they're on, actually, and if they have to stay, because sometimes, the family are at their wits' end and they're tired and they're not going to come get them that night. And so, they might have to just stay, or, if they do bond out, let's have them stabilize until they actually go home. So, once we get them on the list to see the mental health provider, mental health providers come out there, they actually see them, make a diagnosis of what type of treatment they should get, and then get them that treatment as soon as possible, get them to a facility as soon as possible. They actually have several things in place also. It depends on how unstable, once again, it depends on how unstable they are, because, what I have witnessed sometimes with our mental health people, they've been off their medications so long that you have to do something immediately to get them stabilized. Like actually have somebody that's on the scene in medical that can get them a shot to basically calm them down. So that's part of the treatment also. So those are things I would like to implement. Have somebody to interview them, get them to medical, get them on that list to see a mental health provider. If it's something very stable, we can actually have the medical personnel to get on the phone and actually call someone and tell them what's going on with the arrestee, and they can get a suggestion right then and there to get also do a phone interview to get them stabilized. So those are several things that I would look at to treat our mental health once they get arrested.
Thank you very much, Mr. Howell.
You're welcome.
Hello again, Ms. Eason.
Hello.
We have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
And first question, what is the plan for activities for the youth and the rate of, considering the rate of negative behaviors that are being displayed? And then after that, our follow-up question is, what's the plan to maintain and enhance the population living in Fort Valley?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that first question again?
Okay, what is the plan for activities for the youth, given the rate of negative behaviors being displayed?
Okay. All right.
And okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you for that question. I've been out on the campaign trail since early February, and I'm not sure if I agree that there are a lot of negative behaviors with our youth. I have an extensive background with working with children and youth. I'm a social worker by trade, and I've worked with youth that were deemed youth with behavior problems. However, in working in that environment, behavior problems to some people are just children that need a lot of love and care. In Peach County, again, being out on the campaign trail, I've been in most of our sub-communities in Peach County. I have done a lot of community service in Peach County. I've worked in my church, held many youth groups over the summers before COVID-19 that involved several of our sub-communities and with the children. So when we talk about negative behaviors, I don't know if I really identify with that. And I know we do have some children that have had some juvenile issues. However, I see, again, with Parks and Recreation, that we need to increase those services here in Peach County. I know some of those services have been decreased over the years. I've raised children here in Peach County. I remember when the recreation department was booming, and I know that has decreased over the years. I would like to see a larger recreational complex to offer our children more services, more diverse services. I know baseball and football, those type services have always been here for our children. But I think in the 21st century, we need to expand and offer more services to our children and youth. One thing we need to do is ask our children, what do they want? I know a lot of times as parents or adults, we always want to bring to the youth what we want to see. But we should ask the youth what they want to do. That's the first question that we should do. And then we'll know what we need to bring here to Peach County. We don't have a lot of entertainment here for children or adults, as far as that's concerned. So the first thing is to ask the youth what they would like. I was born in 1968. The things that I like is definitely not what our youth would like to do. This is a 21st century generation that we're raising now. And so we need to broaden our horizon, broaden our thinking, broaden our scope, and bring things that would entertain our children. We have to take them to Houston County, even as far as Atlanta, to entertain them. So again, before we do anything and make any decisions, we should first ask the question, what would our youth like to do? We're raising 21st century children, and we shouldn't just make up their minds for them. We should ask them what they would like, and those are the things that we should bring to Peach County.
Thank you for the answer to that question. Now, the following question was, what was the plan, how to maintain and enhance the population? Now, the question says of Fort Valley, however, Fort Valley and Peach County as a whole.
How to maintain Fort Valley
and enhance the living in Fort Valley and Peach County.
Thank you for that question. Well, first of all, we want to do more than maintain. I think I want to give credit to Fort Valley and Peach County. We have been maintaining for a long time. We have been getting by for a long time. And that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to continue maintaining. We want to go further along. That's just like balancing your checkbook. If I have $100 in the bank and I keep $100 in the bank, I'm maintaining. We want to go further than that. We want to do better. We're doing okay, but we want to do better. And so again, what we need to do is we need to come to the table and we need to put our ideas together and we need to see how we can move forward and get better. So to answer that question, we don't want to maintain. We want to do better. People have been maintaining for a long time here, but that's not what we want to do. My house has been standing for 22 years. In order for it to keep standing, I've got to do some things. I've got to keep it up. If I don't keep it up, it won't be maintained. So we've got to add to Fort Valley. We've got to add to Byron. We've got to add to Peach County. There are people again here that didn't have something to fall back on when they were laid off, when they lost their jobs during the pandemic. Now they are not maintaining. We've got to start thinking about these things when we ask these questions. How are we going to maintain? We've got to think about our neighbors, our friends, our families who are not maintaining right now. So we've got to make plans for tomorrow, for next year, and for the future. So when we ask questions like that, I want you to think in your heart. When I was out on the campaign trail and I met people who were maintaining last year, but unfortunately are not maintaining this year, we need to think about the questions that we're asking people. The people that are going to Festival Park every other week and picking up those food boxes. Once before, they didn't have to do that. They were maintaining. So I need for people to be serious because this is very serious. People are not maintaining. So we need to grow Fort Valley, Byron, and Peach County because some people out there, unfortunately, are not maintaining. So we need to do more than maintain. We need to build a nest egg for Fort Valley, Byron, and Peach County. It's just that serious. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your thoughtful answers to those questions, Ms. Eason.
You're welcome.
Mr. Yoder, hello again. Have a couple questions for you. Okay. And the questions are kind of in reverse order. What is the plan to enhance living in Fort Valley and Peach County? And then a follow-on question to that. What plans do you have for activities for youth? We consider negative behaviors that the youth are starting to experience. What plan for their activities do you have either on the horizon or just as ideas?
So the first question is about maintaining
and enhancing the living in Fort Valley and Peach County.
Okay. And thank you for whoever submitted the question. We're somewhat limited to in the scope of services of what we provide, unless we add services. I believe that's something that we all need to take really serious. What those services are, like example, this year, a lot of people, there's shortages, and I worry that there's going to be more of that because of the stimulus to the economy. Though it feels good now, it's going to lower our seniors' capability to purchase goods because value of their dollar is lowered. Is simply what happens when you put a lot of new money into the system. And that's probably what some of us have noticed already. Like, we're trying to get somebody to repair something, costs skyrocketing, cost of goods. And so I do worry a lot about diminishing buying power for our, and especially our seniors and ones on fixed incomes. So there are some things that I think we can do to make sure that there's a good safety net to, and for example, like the food distribution points, that is really, there was one going on today in Byron. There's been quite a few going on at Festival Park, and this is really helping a lot of people, and kudos to the ones organizing this. This is really helping relieve the pressure on these people, and that's part of what I appreciate about our community is the resilience, not just like in the business community and how everyone jumped in and is doing that. So there are things like there are services that Peach County provides. I just go through a little list that I think that can help alleviate that somewhat. One of my favorite topics is the senior center. We have a really good director there that is really awesome. They've gotten, the seniors haven't been able to go because of restrictions that are in place. So we have that in place. I think there's a lot that can be done through that. We have that. We as a county fund that, and everyone has access, whether it's Byron or Fort Valley, which there's not as much access in Byron, though we do Meals on Wheels and cover that area. And then there's other things like, of course, funding the health department, working with Middle Flint Behavioral Health Care, that addresses a lot of the mental health issues that have to do with quality of life in the area, and helping people like when they're being put back out into the community. Of course, things like funding the library system, transportation, Department of Family and Children's Services, LEAP, and Family Connections. So there's a lot that we have that does that, and I believe improves quality of life in Peach County and for Fort Valley and Byron. So we are limited somewhat to that scope because it's the services that we provide that the taxpayers have agreed for that to be a service. So the expansion of that, whether it's like recreation, that's a big thing with a lot of us, and is something that is definitely adds a lot in quality of life for an area, because people can access it whether it's walking and safe environment. There's things that needed improvement to like camera systems. We just done that to help with vandalism, also to make it more safer, or people feel safer, and of course ones that are wanting to not so much create a safe environment, whether it's vandalism, to make them uncomfortable. The expansion of those services as we're able to, like as funding improves, that's, and hopefully we can continue to do that, stay efficient, and provide expanded services where we can. We got to be careful about that though, because if we do too much too quick, it can also create a burden on the same people we're trying to help. Something that I have really, I like it. I like the expansion of servicing I-75. We have a gold mine coming through Peach County. We have 4 egress and ingress exchanges Byron, 247 connector, and then of course Russell Parkway Extension and Highway 96. And I touched earlier about Buc-ee's out there. There's a lot with this expansion that can help with something it should excite all of us, and that's the SPLOS. That's a special purpose local option sales tax. We have 7 cents currently that we collect as a merchant. You collect 7 cents. I kind of like when I submit it to the state of Georgia, 3 pennies comes back. It's a local option sales tax, which actually rolls back property taxes. So when you see that it would be this amount, but it's less, that's your local option sales tax that gets applied directly to property tax. Then you have the SPLOS, which is a special purpose local option sales tax, and that is actually something that people of our community, Byron, Fort Valley, the county, we get together on projects that are important. Same way as like the education special purpose local option sales tax, which is the eSPLOS. And take, for instance, the high school. So these things help, and that is, as far as I know, is completely funding the high school, the new high school. So there's things, if we, roadmaps are hard. They're whether it's we have an awesome development authority team. They work really hard. They're recognized state level on what they're doing. And so there's a lot of behind the scenes work going on. And as this gets, the growth happens along I-75, I believe we're going to see, we already seen a big spike in the 3 pennies that are coming back to Peach County. And part of it has to do with this is something that's really good for especially poor counties, whether it's and not calling anybody, because it doesn't take a lot of money to be wealthy, and people are our greatest asset. But whether it's Peach County, Taylor County, Crawford County, Macon County, they actually benefit from online shopping, because the sales tax, those 3 cents, or as in Macon County or Taylor County, they have a transportation SPLOS. So 4 cents goes back to them out of the 8 cents they collect. So what happens when you order something online, those, like here in Peach County, those 3 cents, the local option sales tax, education special purpose local option sales tax, and the special purpose local option sales tax, that all comes back, and I believe really is responsible for the big spike in income for that. So without going further into that, I see that as a window to do these expansions on what we can do with services that are in place. Possibly, if there's a expanded, like a recreation complex or something like that, that would be absolutely awesome to our youth. And I believe it is important that in regards to our youth, this has been a rough year for them, and really at both ends, whether it's young people restricted, older or seniors that are isolated. It's been a rough year, and there's a lot that they have to navigate, and I think we need it is important that we look out for them and try to do everything we can, whether it's the services that whether it's transportation, service through the health department, senior center. So I see that as something that can make, not only maintain, but make people want to stay in Fort Valley, Peach County, the Byron area. And so in that way actually add to population. Now, when it comes to how to find out what would work with our young people, I think our greatest asset to do that is our school system, leaders in our school system, and of course Fort Valley State. Whether it's questionnaires, being able to see what they're interested in, what they're looking for. I think we have a good opportunity to work with that to do that, and so that's. I hope I answered that the question on that, and one thing I would like to add to that. As far as job opportunity here in Peach County, we at the high school, and there's a lot that we have to be very proud of with our school system. Dr. Brown's doing an absolutely awesome job. One department that I've taken a special interest in, and I'm on the local school governance team for the high school, and the reason was my interest on the CTAE side, which is a vocational training. That I consider one of the roadmaps for us to get, same way as like the expansion of our services through the sales tax dollars that come back to Peach County, and the growth that can actually supply funding for serving those, is when companies want to come, that they want to move into areas that have skilled labor. And so in working with our development authority, there's ways to do that if we put our hands on deck, we can make it to where it's fertile ground for industry to actually want to come to Peach County for that skilled workforce, and then start competing for these employees. And that's what was starting to really happen last year, and I noticed that it was harder and harder for employers to find help, and so employees kind of were a very competitive market, and they could get a higher wage. So we have, with the CTAE or vocational training, creating pathways for our young people that are directly connected with Fort Valley State and other Middle Georgia Technical College, Central Georgia Technical College. So creating pathways for our young people and giving them guidance, finding their strengths and finding out what they enjoy is really big. I'm on the Middle Georgia Workforce Development Board, and we approved it was a software program that actually analyzes the area, like is 11 county region that it keeps everything from job data that's available and what those jobs pay. And then we have that on that side, which is the industry and job side. And then you can narrow it down to a local area. Then on the school system, there was something new that is made available and it's implemented. There is youth science, and it actually uses technology to really go deep into helping our students create pathways that interest them, their strength and everything. So I think we got a lot to work with Peach County to grow and expand, but one of the biggest things is quality of life. That's what should be our goal from all the way to elementary school, well, younger than that, all the way to our seniors is, and that's what helps me keep focused on what my job is for Peach County is quality of life. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your thoughtful answers to those questions.
At this time, the Fort Valley Chapter of Deese would like to thank each of you for joining us today, taking time out of your schedule to be here to let us hear more about your platform. So I would like to thank you as well as our president, Wilhelmina Sibley, and my co-chair, Owena Odoms, for joining us this evening. And I would like to add, it was our attempt to reach as many candidates as possible in our service area, which includes Houston County. Unfortunately, we were not able to reach everybody, but I am so glad that you all were able to make time in your schedule to join us this evening. And I also like to thank the participants for joining us well to hear what each candidate had to say tonight. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Odom before we close out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. We wish you the best of luck in your individual races. Given the great wealth of information that you've shared with us and your passion with regard to what you would like to accomplish in your respective offices, we should be in very good hands. So have a very good evening. Thank you so much again for participating.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening,
And
everyone.
please don't
Thank
forget
you.
to go
Thank
to the polls.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Have a
Good
great
night.
Night.